welcome back to my channel. Anna Morphides here with Mending Hearts Counseling, and today's video topic is going to be why are relationships so hard? I do hear this question quite often, and I experience it myself as well. And the best way that I can answer this is that relationships are so difficult because they reflect back all of our unmet needs, and they reflect back all of the damage that traumas have caused within us. Perhaps even reframing damage and caused from traumas, they reflect back what is energetically and has been embedded in our nervous system from traumas that we experienced when we were younger, and also they reflect back the needs that we currently are not having being met. I talk a lot about needs because it is a very vital aspect of a relationship. When the needs are not met is when the troubles start to happen. When we are young, our needs are fulfilled by our caregivers. When we leave adolescence from 24 years old and on, we mainly attach to that partner that we are seeking of a romantic nature to get those needs fulfilled. And those needs are essentials like food and water and sleep for your optimal well-being and your optimal survival. When your needs are not met is when things start to go awry, and the rational mind is not able to work anymore. It's almost like it's hungry, it's thirsty, it hasn't slept a lot. It's the exact same feeling. It kind of goes into the sympathetic nervous system, and it affects the way that you react. And you go into fight, flight, or flee mode. So you either want to fight back, and that is like when you start to basically lose your SHIT on your partner, and you either want to flee, like run away, don't even acknowledge that there is an issue, but the thoughts inside your mind are still like, why is this happening? How can he not see me? How can she not hear me? How do they not know what I want? Those thoughts are representing what is taking place inside of you and what is currently not being met. And this is why relationships are so hard. So the beautiful thing about that is that we can actually make them easier for ourselves, because now we recognize that we have needs and those needs are meant to be met. So there's no such thing as being too needy. Needy are essential for our optimal well-being, much like food and water and sleep. So if someone says you are too needy, now you know that this is not the correct evaluation of someone's expression of lack of met needs. It is true, it is valid, and is supported by science. And there's many other therapists actually that talk about needs, and sometimes you might hear the word desire. And there is this one great author that I love, that in his book about couples therapy, he talks about the 50 universal desires, he calls them. And when we are able to understand what desire or need in that moment is not being met, then we can literally make our own relationship easier. So we don't give the power away to our partner. We take the power back to ourselves. This is the only way that we can make our relationship easier, is to understand what is happening within us, uncover the unmet need, and then express it and see where a conclusion can be made or an arrangement can be come into consideration, and like to have something tangible that you can hold on to, and to know that this is the way that your desire is going to be met. So for example, my client comes and says, I'm so upset. My husband doesn't ever take me out. All he ever does is go out with his friends. I feel so disappointed and I keep saying it over and over, but it's still not happening. Why is this happening? Why is this taking place? So then I have to first bring my client back into their window of tolerance where they're not acting out of the emotional mind, which is very much enmeshed with the feelings and emotions that are present, and go back into the mindful mind where it takes in consideration both the rational aspect of it and the emotional aspect of it. So the rationality, does that actually happen? Does that actually take place? Does the partner in this situation not incorporate their partner into their lives? So first, when we talk about that, then we come to the conclusion as per client that indeed, when their partner discusses to them what their week is going to look like, they are not involving their partner. So they will say things like, I am going to go golfing on Friday after work. I am going to have a meeting on Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. And on Saturday, I'm going to go and watch some sports at the sports bar with my friends. So this is true fact that nowhere in that paragraph are any indications that this particular partner is incorporating their partner into their social life or their weekly routine or their weekly schedule. So now it is my client's responsibility to notice that her need for connection is not being met. So this is why relationships become so difficult, because the needs are not met. So my client's need for connection is not being met. And every time she expresses the need for connection, we're not all trained to really listen or hear our partner. Her partner might think of her as being needy because it usually comes out as whining. We don't really know the language to sort of express ourselves. And I have been a victim of this type of behavior as well. And when I recognize that I do have a deep need for connection myself, I did ask for a weekly date night. This is in my case. Perhaps maybe a monthly date night is enough for somebody else when it comes to fulfilling the need for connection. I know that in my case, a weekly date night is a must. It's non-negotiable for me. So this is a strict boundary that I have. And if I miss it, because now I can't have the expectation of my partner to meet that need all the time, because that's not part of their needs. When we uncovered my partner's needs that are completely different than mine, actually they're quite the opposite. So it is his responsibility to explain to me and express to me what his needs are. And it is my responsibility to express to him and explain to him what my needs are. And if he forgets, instead of losing my marbles or going off the haywire, I have to recognize what is happening, and then I have to voice it and say, I heard the schedule of your week. This is for the example for my client. I heard your schedule for the week and I noticed that I'm not anywhere included in it. Is there a possibility that you can perhaps squeeze a quick dinner for the both of us? Or maybe we can have a movie date, something along those lines. And that has a different outcome than when we start yelling and start saying things like, you never include me, you don't like me, you don't love me, this has always happened, this sucks, this is so terrible, I hate this. And then there's a different response that meets those words. It's more of like, what are you talking about? You're so sensitive. You're too much. I don't want to deal with this. And then boom, shuts the door and walks off. Like, this is a typical scenario. But as opposed to saying, I haven't heard you include me in your week this week. Is it a possibility to perhaps squeeze in a quick dinner or have a date night at the movie theater this week? That prompts for a complete different response. Your partner has the ability to actually hear you as opposed to trying to defend themselves to the comment, you don't ever include me. They don't have to sort through things in their mind to prove the opposite. So then they're able to really hear your need for connection, and they might say, I'm not available this week, but what about next week? Or they might say, yes, on Thursday I'm free. How about we catch the 7 p.m. movie, or we can go for sushi, and just use this type of communication to really make your relationship not be hard. And remember that this is a new language. This is a new way of speaking for both males and females and all genders in between and non-genders and everyone. This is a whole different way of people in relationships speaking to each other, because there is this wonderful book that I am reading, More Love, Less Conflict, that really highlights the fact that in the last 50 years, women have been working really hard to change their blueprint for love. He talks about this concept, and I'm really grateful that I'm not the only therapist, counselor that is experiencing this. This is actually from a male's perspective, and he is recognizing that women are setting boundaries and are changing the way that they communicate, and they're learning how to express their needs, because before their needs did not really even matter. I guess it depends what part of the world you grew up in, but very much in my culture, the women did not really have much of a voice or were educated enough to even know what needs are, etc., etc. So now we are really experiencing this energetic shift within women, and I am sure even men too. I don't want to keep it only just the females. It's just I happen to be a female, and most of my clients are females. And oh, I lost my train of thought there. Energetic big shift. Females are changing. They're learning to communicate the needs. And this is another reason why it's also so much harder for us females. It's because this is a new language for us all, and we're doing this for the generations before, and we're doing this for the generations after. So our daughters will have a different model for how to give and receive love. They're going to see strength, they're going to see knowing, they're going to see knowledge, they're going to see someone who respects their boundaries, someone who is knowing of their needs and is willing to do the work. Is willing to do the work to be a better communicator, willing to do the work to know what it is that their needs and desires are, because there are many. So there are hundreds of needs and desires, and actually, Jonathan Robinson has narrowed them down to 50. This is actually the author that I was talking about the universal 50 desires that he has. I was taught a lot more needs, close to maybe 250. And when we work with someone, or even just Google it on the internet and see what your needs are, see what resonates with you, and maybe like narrow it down to your top 5 out of the myriads of needs that exist out there, then you're going to be able to recognize what is happening within you. You're going to be able to express that to your partner in a way that doesn't point the finger to them, in a way that creates a positive response that is desired to be heard from them. And then slowly by slowly, relationships start to become less difficult. And the stronger you are, and the more you show the universe that you are in a knowing of your needs and desires and your boundaries, then the more the universe rewards you with more of that. Be careful of your thoughts. When you have the constant chatter of why me, why is this happening, the universe will bring you more of that. When you have that thought, why me, why this is happening, okay, let me Google desires, or let me Google needs. What is it in this moment that is happening for me that I am not able to experience within my relationship? What is my partner not able to reflect back to me? And this is true for everybody. Because we attach to our romantic partners, they will be the ones that will ruffle most of our feathers and will show to us what it is that is happening within us that is not being met, what has not healed. And it is our responsibility to do that work. And either that partner will naturally meet you there, or they will naturally fall away and the universe will bring somebody else. This is 1,000,000% what happens, and any spiritual teacher, any therapist, any counselor will back that up. I'm gonna stop my video here right now, and I just wanted to thank you once again for listening to all the beautiful knowings that I have been blessed to encounter through my studies and the myriads of books that I have gone through from different spiritual teachers and counselors, therapists, and so forth. And I am wishing you a day full of discoveries of what your needs and what your desires and what your boundaries are that you want to experience and are not happening, in order for you to sort of make your relationship, first of all, with yourself a little bit easier, so then that can be reflected back to you from your partner, because it will be difficult and challenging. But we can just reframe that by saying that, yes, indeed, they are difficult and challenging, but also this is the way to become the better version of ourselves. And I hope to, experience that beauty of your best self unfold within you. And as always, if there's any questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comment box below. Feel free to always DM me or email me for any sort of further discussions or sessions. I am available, and as always, full of gratitude for this experience and opportunity. And have a great rest of your day. See you next time.